But alright, so we're here with another Sham Talk, and this one was something that I just did a little glimpse offline while I was checking out like what other shows, trailers, stuff like that were coming out. Kit Katzyy dropped a very serious type video, and the title is "I Am Not Okay." And obviously, like I did see in the description that this is a manifesto, so we're definitely gonna dive into this manifesto. And Kit, if you're ending up watching this, I definitely like wanna have a point where we could have an interview about this, or more like a little collab. But it's more just gonna be like an interview towards like how you're feeling, like what's been going on with you, cause I definitely like want to know like how you've been doing, cause I will agree, cause I did like hear the first few moments of this video of the world is not a great place. Like I really get that, and I know you're gonna dive into more into this video, and I will do my best to give my thoughts and my opinions. So obviously, to anyone that ends up watching this, just know this is my opinions. You have your own opinions. If you disagree with me, obviously like you could disagree with me. If you agree with me, you can agree with me. I don't want you to be going out from this video knowing that, oh, I'm convincing you to do this, like to have this mentality. No, like I'm not doing that by any means. I'm not. And this is not gonna be like a type of political thing, because I know I'm not very enthralled in this whole political spectrum, like the other live streamers do. So obviously, like they have their own political viewpoints. I obviously like don't have a political view, because one, I just don't know. I need to be more informed about this. But if it dives into that, because I did see, like I said, I did dive into some like moments from this, but just let this be known. This is my opinions. This is my discussion. You have your own opinions, your own discussions. I'm not convincing people to have this mindset that I'm doing. So let's dive in, checking out Kit Katzy's manifesto called "I Am Not Okay."
Hey, so before we get started, just a heads up. This video will be more mature than my usual content. Viewer discretion is advised. I apologize for those of you who have viewed my channel before for my usually more lighthearted videos. I don't anticipate always going this hard. However, these are things that I needed to say. If you decide to go ahead and watch this video anyway, I appreciate your viewership. Thank you.
Yep. Yep. Jesus Christ, yeah. So cold is being tired. Behold a feeling tired. Stand quietly at the side. Watch darkness open wide. The light is growing dim, so dim within. Cold is being Renaissance. Yeah. Obviously, like I said, when I was looking at those like first few seconds of this video, like I kind of like was expecting like a very, very serious talk about this, because like I said, the world is it tries to heal itself, but it's also really hard to like heal itself, knowing that we have actions like Kit Katzyy just showcased that takes a turn, and it scares people. It gets people thinking. It gets people mad. But we'll definitely go more beyond this as we're continuing this video. And yeah, this one will be a very serious talk for sure. So just let this be known. Like how Kit says, this is gonna be a very serious video. so is this discussion. Like, we'll just jump in more.
I am not okay. Things seem to be getting crazier and crazier, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels this way. It feels like the world makes less and less sense as time goes on.
Yeah.
Year after year, month after month, it's just been a downward spiral of chaos, and it's like I'm slowly losing my mind. Politics, the economy, social brain rot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sure, there has always been bad things happening in the world, but
Mm-hmm.
things, they just feel different now.
Mm.
For the most part, I don't get too caught up in the negativity news spiral because I've always had at least a broad understanding of history and have made peace with the fact that we live in a fallen world.
I do agree with that, but also it's kind of hard to like not get caught up with what's going on in the world, because yeah, even though the world is dark and we have moments where we feel like we're spiraling it out of control to chaos, we also gotta like understand from it and learn more from it, because it just better gives us an understanding of just how people's mentality is when it comes to like these topics. So yeah.
But I would be lying if I said that reality hasn't really felt normal in the last 5 years or so. And
It's been
then,
really bad.
1 month ago, something happened that really put things into perspective. What really kicked off this current depressive feeling I have was actually the Charlie Kirk assassination.
Mm.
Now, to be honest, I wasn't ever really a Charlie Kirk fan.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of knew who he was, but honestly, the whole college campus debate bro thing just
Mm-hmm.
is not my kind of content.
Mm.
It's not that I had anything for or against the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I just really didn't have any prior opinion of the man at all.
Mm.
However, I was surprised at just how hard his assassination hit me. I mean, perhaps it was just the collective emotional accumulation of all of the shit that had happened before finally coming to a head. Why should I care so strongly about the death of a man that I hadn't, quote unquote, cared about?
That is also one thing that has, like, I know Kit is not the only one. Like, even I was in shock when I saw the video, like, going around, because I was just, like, doing my own thing before heading to work, and then out of nowhere, I just, like, decided to check out Twitter, and then just hear, or just see on the tab, Charlie Kirk. And I honestly, like, wasn't, like, also involved, like, with all, like, the videos that he was talking about. Like, it was basically after his death where all the context that he's been saying has been showcasing to light. And yeah, like, I was so shocked when I saw that video. I was like, dude, they literally shot a person that was just giving their own opinion. And yeah, that really fucked with people's mindset, because there were some fans, there were some haters, but at the end of the day, it still impacted people, like, no matter what. Like, I know I saw the comment for this video as I was refreshing it, that the person was saying, oh, why aren't you worried about, like, what's going on in here and there? It's more different for him in his aspect, because, like, one, like, it was just a person giving an opinion that got shot. Like, don't get me wrong, like, the whole stuff that's going on outside of the world, all the people dying, like, I feel bad for that as well. Like, also, like, the whole school shootings that are going on, like, I also feel bad for that, because, like, I also have that mentality in the back of my head, like, Because I have a sibling that is also going to school. Like, I'm terrified of that. I'm also terrified of what these people have to go through, like day-to-day lives, and they just end up just getting their life taken away for no reason. It's the same thing with the Charlie Kirk thing, that it was just a human being giving their thoughts, and just out of nowhere someone with a dark heart decided to go with the movement of doing that action. And seeing the developments of that story continue, and then hearing from Charlie Kirk's wife, from like that one message that she gave, like, it really resonated people into changing. Because as we were developing that story, I was also checking out VTubers that were talking about this. Like, one of them, a perfect example, is Leaflet. That she was going on talking about like how she felt about the situation, and then showcasing just the dynamic of people's reaction. Like, some people were like, he was just a human debating. He did not need to get his life taken away. And then you had other people cackling, laughing like demons, saying, good that he was dead. Like, it should have happened sooner. Or now they want to put this display to someone else that they have hatred for. Like, there was a dynamic there, and it really did showcase like the true colors of people. And the people that were from their political sides, they started changing, because they saw they don't want to be affiliated with those people that were thinking those awful thoughts about this. They wanted to be more into the more sane community, because one, we're all human. We're all human at the end of the day. We have our own opinions. We have our own stances upon things. I obviously, like, whenever I hear what happened there, what happened in this other place, what happened in this other place, it really hurts my heart. Because none of them deserve those actions towards them. Like, they're just humans. Just like the ones that did those horrible things, they're also humans. But, like, their mentalities are just tarnished. And it really does suck when they do that action, instead of just going with the whole concept of, maybe I shouldn't do this, and just having the thought of not going through with it. Because, like I said, and how Kit Katzyy was saying, it's a very dark world, but we have to heal, even if this world is all fucked up. Hopefully we have moments where we could shine the light. We could stop this nonsense that's going on in the world, because it's just continuing. It really sucks, because every time I wake up, and whenever I see one of my the live streamers that I watch, when they talk about like these certain topics going on, like, it just kills me inside, being like, I hate hearing all these bad news going around. Like, I at least want to hear something like gleeful, heartfelt, changes being made, stuff like that. Because like that at least gives me the mindset of, we're healing at a slow pace, but we're still healing. Instead of just having to hear BS after BS, giving me like a horrible mindset, and having to like cope with it, and just being like, nothing is gonna change ever, because it's just an endless spiral. But yeah, it really does suck. It really does suck, because no one deserves those fates. No one.
I think one reason was just how expected yet unexpected it was. Anyone who's been paying attention to the political scene for a while knows that the political temperature has been steadily rising for some time now. And anyone with a brain knew that if things didn't cool off, it would only be a matter of time before some high-profile assassination occurred.
Yeah.
Or at least a successful one, that is. So that an assassination happened at all wasn't really that surprising, unfortunately, although it was disheartening. But what was surprising was the victim. Charlie Kirk wasn't some radical by any means. By all accounts, his political...
Wait, and then he said, and for those of you who think he was far right, I hope for your sake that the actual far right never comes into power.
Positions were more moderate, mainline conservative. He didn't even hold any political office either. All he really did was debate people on campuses and do campaign stuff for the Republican Party.
The same thing that Leaflet was saying.
All pretty normal political stuff.
It's just normal political stuff.
Anything worth a death sentence, right? The fact that he was targeted and not someone actually in power in government just seems so random. He was also really young, only 4 years older than myself, and he had a young family. A wife and 2 kids aged 1 and 3, I believe. I have a soft spot for when tragedy befalls youth, because not only are we robbed of who that person was, but we are also robbed of everything that they should have become in the many years of life that they should have had ahead of them.
Yeah.
This father should have been there for his kids, and now he won't be.
Yeah. That was like the most heartbreaking thing.
But what really made this situation so horrible wasn't even the awfulness of the situation itself, but the even worse response that many people had to it.
Yeah, it's obviously like the people that are like laughing at the fact that he died. 'Cause, like I said, like no one deserved fates like death. No one. Not the people that are not living in our area, but living in third world countries. The people that are living in, or the people that are going to school, none of them deserve that. But it really does suck that we have people that just have tainted mindsets, hearts, that just, they can't double think to stop it, but rather just go with action, and that action costs lives. It really does. It's really painful to like have to hear news of numbers and just like what happened in this spot and this spot, and it just keeps continuing. But yeah, the whole cackling was just, it was just so awful. It was really awful. And it wasn't just the cackling, it was just more like the continuation of like trying to pay the respects. Like people were not trying to do like, oh, like we can't do that. Oh no, we can't do that. And then people got canceled for that. And then people got fired. And then this, that, and third. 'Cause bro, like from all your cackling, you're just piling up the amount of what's it called, pushback you're gonna get from it. And it did happen, and it really does suck also, because even if I were to like to say an opinion that someone, if I were to give my opinion, which obviously I am giving my opinions here, and I know there's gonna be someone that doesn't resonate with my viewpoints, and they go to the point of just being violent. I was like, bro, like I said in the beginning of this video, like this is just my viewpoints, this is just my opinions. Like you have your own viewpoints, your own opinions. I'm not convincing you to follow the same route I am, because we're all human. We're all bound to our own freedoms, thoughts, and opinions. And it sucks that you could be threatened just by giving an opinion.
The juxtaposition of seeing a wholesome video of a dad hugging his daughter something that she will never get to do again,
Yeah.
followed immediately by countless videos
There
of
it
all
is.
of these self-diagnosed, empathetic, and tolerant people celebrating his very public and gruesome execution live in front of thousands, all because they didn't like his opinions. This left me.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, like you could also like hate the opinions that the person gave, but like there's a freaking there's a line that you should never cross, and that is go with the triggering of I don't like your opinion, I'm gonna just commit action on you. No, you could just be like, I'm not gonna watch this guy. That's it. It's that simple. If you go to the point of literally like tweeting, oh, like ha ha ha, he died, or ha ha ha, like rip bozo, then you could just not feel it, cause you just know the amount of pushback is starting to grow, and it's getting ready to launch at you, and then you start questioning why you got fired, why you got canceled, why you got blocked, and not have that second thought of, oh shit, I said something bad, huh? Well, now I'm suffering through it. Damn.
Me feeling
it's really bad.
absolutely broken. I admit it. I cried that night, and the next, because it was a horrible situation already, but it was also a wake-up call that if these people were celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk because they disagreed with him, they would also surely celebrate my death if I had any opinions that they also disagreed with.
Yeah. And that's where I keep on going with this whole little thing. Like, dude, like, these people that have these tainted, like, mindsets, like, they gotta freaking, like, have a wake-up call. Because it's just gonna keep on circling and circling and circling. And you can't be, like, with the rebuttal of, what if one of your family members went through that, like, the same thing that he did? And you don't want to wish ill on them. You just want to wish them that they get the help that they need and stop this whole mentality of, I don't agree with them, I'm going to go with violence. Because it all it takes is just talking. That's all what it takes. Just one-on-one talk. Disagreements here, agreements here. Okay? End the conversation, we're done. That's it. That's all we need. But no, we live in America, where violence usually ends up taking an answer, and it sucks, because that's usually like the response that gets given most of the time, especially in this year.
Which, to be frank, is highly likely. So yeah, there's no hiding it anymore. They want me dead too. Evil exists. In that moment, I felt something change deep within me. I was scared by its implications, which actually left me paralyzed at first. I thought about making a video right then and there, but I knew that I probably shouldn't, because I just had so much to process. I had to really take my time and think this through before I said something regretful. Because I realized then that I had just become radicalized. But radicalized into what exactly? I knew that these feelings could have dangerous implications if I didn't think through them carefully.
True.
So that's what this video essay is going to be about. This is what has been on my mind for the last month.
This is another message to Kit. I know that this is called a manifesto, and how you were saying that you had a whole buildup of what's been going on with your mindset, with what's been going on with the world and stuff like that. I want to get to the point where we could have a one-on-one chat, and you could explain to me everything. It doesn't have to be live, but if you want, if you want to go to that point of like speaking it out live, sure. Like, I'll be glad to do it. I just don't want you to make a rash action, 'cause You've been a great friend. Really great friend. I've loved your videos. It still reminds me of that first time that I checked out your videos. I'm like, hey, I like this guy's content. And it went to the point that we ended up talking back and forth on videos. And then it went to the point that we started our first collab. And that was a very special moment of me getting the chance to have a digital friend in this space. And this is me as your digital friend here telling you it's gonna be okay. I know the world is dark, but keep on thinking those thoughts that there is hope, that there is lights at the end of tunnels. People are getting their just desserts for laughing for those evil tweets. Like, I can assure you that Leaflet has given great examples of that. If you haven't checked her out, definitely check her out. She likes talking about the political stuff like that. And like, I just feel like in that moment also, like, she also has points that I disagree with, and I would also like kind of debate with her if I had the chance. I obviously don't have that chance, but I don't go to the point of like, I'm gonna go with violence. No, because it's just a person expressing their own opinions. And I could disagree and agree. So that's basically it. But I'm hoping that you don't do a rash action. I want to be able to have a chat with you. Keep on doing this collabs with you. Even if this world is really, really dark. I'm here for you, my guy. And we'll give the digital hug with the pat on the back. That everything's going to be alright.
This is how I have been radicalized.
A rebel without a cause.
There is something wrong with the world. That much is obvious. In fact, it is the basis for pretty much every world religion. In the Bible, literally the first thing that man does after being gifted paradise is to fuck it up. The story of the Buddha also begins with him realizing the world is full of suffering, which prompts him to leave his comfortable life in his walled palace, which is his own Eden, and seek enlightenment. The realization that the world is fallen naturally leads one to want to challenge the existing broken state. This is a noble goal. However, without an adequate ideology to lead you on your path, this can actually lead to more harm than good.
True.
This is the Rebel Without a Cause character archetype. In the film Rebel Without a Cause, the rebellion of the teenage characters is less about any particular cause and more about generally angsty teen stuff like generational conflict, the need for social belonging, and the need for authenticity. It's a struggle to define oneself in a world that doesn't understand you, which is itself understandable. However, without any true guiding principle, James Dean's character's worldview ends up being deeply flawed, which leads to tragedy. The character, Jim Stark, played by the iconic James Dean, is a deeply angsty teen. His worldview is very fatalistic, as he sees society as being hopelessly inauthentic. To Jim, there are only two types of people in the world: those who are authentic and those who are hypocrites. Conveniently, all of the authentic people just so happen to be himself and people that he likes. And all of the hypocrites are people that he doesn't like.
Isn't that convenient?
Nevertheless, his general angst at society's flawed institutions are understandable, as there certainly are a lot of things wrong with society. However, his youthful naivety and romanticization of rebellion end up leading to more problems than solutions. Jim's impulsive with his actions and rigid in his beliefs, which is not a good combination. His actions often lack any clear purpose or constructive aim. merely lashing out in response to whatever immediate emotional feeling that he has. This is the flaw of the rebel without a cause character, as
Gotcha.
it is only the necessary first step in a proverbial journey to enlightenment. The problem here is the lack of a second step. Recognizing that there is a problem is good, but it can't stop there. There has to be a solution, or at least a suggestion of one. Another one of these rebel characters is Holden Caulfield from J.D. Salinger's classic book, The Catcher in the Rye. When I read this book in high school, at first I really liked it because I empathized with Caulfield's character. Like Jim Stark, Holden Caulfield is another angsty teen who is disillusioned by the, quote, phoniness of everything. It is all very, we live in a society vibe, which, like any teen, was a phase that I went through as well. Guilty as charged. But
Okay,
by the end,
that one
I
was
had
a laugh.
grown extremely weary of Holden Caulfield and actually end up hating the book because he never actually offers any better solutions.
True.
All he does is complain.
Complain,
It's clear
complain,
that
complain.
he will end up just moving on to the next school and get expelled yet again because it will inevitably be too phony for him there too. An everlasting cycle of patheticness. This is not constructive or helpful to anyone. The aimless rebel is ultimately futile because he is defined by his lack of belief in anything better, which effectively is a militant form of nihilism. Nihilism is often thought as being more benign or passive, such as the Road to Nowhere in Wes Anderson's Asteroid City. It's not technically hurting anyone, it just kinda sits there in the background. Some will inevitably lose hope because of it, but most will ignore it and carry on. However, nihilism can become destructive when paired with action. It's the universe-destroying nothingness of the Infinity Bagel from Everything Everywhere All at Once,
Gotcha.
or the literal nothing from The Never-Ending Story. When the belief in nothing is paired with action, it can actually become even more dangerous and destructive than the nothingness itself.
Gotcha.
To become an active, militant agent of nihilism is to be like the Joker from The Dark Knight,
I'm an agent of chaos.
or Gamork from The Never-Ending Story.
I am the servant of the power behind the nothing.
These characters are essentially the logical conclusion of the Jim Stark and Holden Caulfield characters. The world is phony, therefore, in rebellion, the world must burn. Without a better alternative, eventually the nothing will consume you, and through you, spread like the plague to infect the whole world.
Man, they were nihilists, man.
Huh?
They kept saying they believe in nothing.
Niles. Fuck me. I mean, say what you want about the tenets of National Socialism, dude. At least it's an ethos.
Yeah.
Part 3, Demons.
When I saw Inglourious Bastards for the first time, I probably had a much different experience than most people. I actually got to see it for the first time in the theater during a rerun, and being such a popular movie, of course, the auditorium was packed, making
Damn.
for a unique viewership experience that you just can't get watching it at home all by yourself. Something about Tarantino movies is that, although they are hyper-violent, they are also structurally comedic, and Inglourious Bastards is the most well-defined example of this. It is very violent, but also very funny,
Jesus.
which I find to be quite disturbing. There is that famous scene in the movie where a bunch of Nazis are gathered in a movie theater watching a war movie where Germans brutally kill Americans, to which the German audience laughs hysterically at.
Yeah.
Ironic, then, that I was sitting in a movie theater with a bunch of Americans, watching a war movie where Americans brutally kill Germans, to which the American audience laughs hysterically at. And while I am not saying this at all to imply some kind of sympathy for the Third Reich, I do find the parallels to be quite unsettling. Because if I were to point out this curious parallel to most of those people in that audience with me, I am quite confident that most of them would deny that it exists, on the basis that, of course, they are nothing like the Nazis. They're good.
Okay, so as we were checking out the section 2, which was the rebel without a cause, and I do agree, like the examples that were given there, that they do have like this whole mentality of like, oh, like, do I go more with like there's two aspects of people that are very genuine and will never lie, and the people that are liars and hypocrites and stuff like that. Like, yes, you could definitely like see it in a way like that, but also like we've gotten to the point where thinking has been a little bit more constructive and weird, because one, you have people that are very opinionative of stuff, like give or take, like the things that are going on with the world, whether it's like the economy, whether it's like little things going off like outside of the world that could develop into something like even worse. Like, you have people just like saying, well, here's my constructive analysis on this, and then you have the people that are rooting for violence or rooting for something critical. Then you have people that are like carefully watching, giving that hope that nothing happens crazy. Like, there's so many aspects of like thinking here, but also you also have people that are like twin faces, where they say a blatant lie just to save face from their true feelings. Like, they try to follow a bandwagon of, oh, like, we're not like this, but in the shadows they are. Because it's the same thing with like the whole the Charlie Kirk thing. We had people that hated him for his opinions, but like didn't like do any action, which is okay. Then you have the people that hated him and wanted to do action, and then you have people that didn't know who this person was until now that the stuff happened, and it usually gets mixed. It gets really mixed in there, because the people that didn't want to do anything now go to the point of like they want to do now something because a person did the action for them, and they try to save face being like, oh no, like, oh, like, I feel bad for him, but in reality they literally go on like to like Twitter or social media to like express their dark desires that they have, and it's so scary just like hearing the thoughts that people have when it's not them in real person like saying it. Like, it's really scary. And then the people that wanted to do the actions and they end up changing their actions after seeing the action happen in real time, they're like, maybe I shouldn't, maybe I should stop, maybe I should actually like calm down, think about life, and move forward and try to do my best to become a better human. Because this mentality that I'm following is just going to give me nothing but sorrow, hatred, and just a horrible path. Like, it's really scary, like, how this whole concept goes. Because humans never went to the point of following the same ideal and just moving forward. We've always had people stray away because they think their version is better, or they found something that's a little bit more better than this concept, because they could think that it has flaws, and people get to decide where to go.
Good people.
I know it sounds confusing,
which
but
I suppose is true. The average American probably has never personally committed a genocide. However, I bring up this story only to state that the common behavior of human beings remains common across the board, even as something as ethically distant and evil as the Nazis. Because the uncomfortable truth is that the Nazis were human too, which means that if they were capable of committing such horrendous atrocities, So could you, or I, or any of those people in that theater, given the proper circumstances. Remember,
Yeah.
Lucifer was once an angel, which means that there is not much difference between an angel and a demon.
Yep.
And humans are no angels. There is a saying that in hell there are no guards blocking the gates, because the inhabitants themselves will drag each other back into the boiling pit. On a theological basis, what this means is that hell is something that people choose for themselves, rather than simply divine punishment. Even the devil himself ended up in hell because of his actions that he took of his own free will. It is not so much that hell is a divine punishment, but rather a natural outcome of our own sinful choices. This concept is expressed most eloquently in the Japanese film Shura, which means demons in English.
Demons.
At the start of the film, none of the characters are particularly saintly. One of them is a disgraced samurai, another is a geisha woman, and so on. But none of these characters start out theoretically beyond the point of redemption. However, they all end up betraying each other in increasingly disgusting ways,
Jesus.
including deceit, lust, avarice, cuckoldry, murder, and revenge. The film opens with a color shot of a sunset, and once night begins, everything becomes black and white.
It's all
And
dark.
night is upon us for the duration of the film. Shura is a story about the descent into hell, and the demons who pull each other further and further down into the unending darkness. The theological nature of demons is that of deceit and corruption. The demons in the anime Frieren Beyond the Journey's End are a great example of this. To quote the elf herself, demons use words to trick humans.
Yep.
You can't trust a word that they say. They're monsters who learn to speak. Regardless of which spiritual tradition they are pulled from, demons generally act in opposition to good. At best, they are chaotic tricksters. At worst, they are evil tempters. Demons in Frieren view human speech as a form of magic, which is actually very wise of them. Speech, at least in the Christian tradition, rooted in the Greek term logos, is a sacred thing as an agent of creation. In Genesis, God uses the word to bring the world into existence, and by extension, we continue to participate in the sacred act of creation with our own words. What makes demons evil is that they abuse this divine gift of speech, of logos, and pervert it to their own self-serving ends. In short, they are liars. In a flashback scene, Frieren asks a demon why it called out for its mother when it was being killed, reasoning that a demon has no reason to call out to a mother that it never knew, because demon parents abandoned their offspring at birth. The
Because
word
of their
mother
own
has no
decisions.
emotive value for a demon.
Yeah.
The demon responds that it uses that word because it stops humans.
True. Tricking the people, and then obviously they would go to their help, but they would help them, but in return, those demons would end up trying to kill them, because, like how it's always been played out, demons are nothing but tricksters and liars, and we see that with people that you give them trust. And what do? They abuse it. They abuse that trust. Where you're like, oh, this person has his own mindset and thoughts. I have my own mindsets and thoughts. Like we share something in common. We share thoughts. But then if you get too chummy with them, to the point that you have one point of disagreement, it tips off the whole balance. They end up trying to find ways to say that you're the one in the wrong, whereas you try to give rebuttals, but it's kind of hard because from those rebuttals, the demon ends up finding ways to find allies by tricking them with keywords. and then you try to do your best to point out those lies that they have, but it's really hard because they've already convinced people that it tries to push you away, and you're just left with aloneness and having that mentality of like, how am I going to find ways to bounce back from this? And it's the same thing with just arguing with someone. Like, if you have arguments, like, just find the common goal that you have. Like, there's always going to be an answer to any disagreement. And if you can't, well, it's just a lost cause, like, to begin with. But for me, having disagreements with people, and it went to the point where I would get them mad, I would be like, well, I'm gonna just let them be mad, and I'm gonna just continue my own thing, and they get to do their own actions. And then whenever, like, their actions end up being a pushback, I collect those actions that they have done as a pushback. So then when I have something to hold myself, I push it to them to showcase their lies, their wrongdoings, their mess ups. And then they get to realize that they were pretty wronged for the actions that they have done, and they end up changing for the better. But usually we hope for that outcome. But in this age, it's a lot more different, because then it just goes to the point where people end up just choosing violence as their answer, because they just don't want to accept when they're wronged.
To the demon, the value of the word is limited only to what it can gain from it. In this case, making humans who do have an emotive response to the word mother think twice before killing it. If it has a mother, should it really be killed?
Yeah.
To demons, speech is purely a utilitarian magic trick. Truth
A word
doesn't
to
matter,
deceive.
only outcomes. The absence of truth also leads to suffering. Coming back to Shura, if these characters had just been truthful with each other from the beginning, they actually very well
Could have survived.
come up with a mutually beneficial solution for
Yeah.
all of them. However,
Find
through
the
perverse
disagreement.
schemes against each other, powered by corruption and deceitful speech, little by little they lose their humanity and become demons. Sin begets sin, making things worse and worse until you think that things can't get any worse. That is, until things do, in fact, get worse.
Jesus. Have you seen this movie? You know what this scene is. Oh.
And that is how you end up in hell.
Yeah. Carry your cross.
そんな話は今の世の中にはざらにあるよ。この羅生門に住んでた鬼が人間の恐ろしさに逃げ出したという話さえあるこの俺だ。
The world is in a state of corruption and decay. Even sacred places, like our temples, are not immune to the natural processes of deterioration. The inescapable fact of death, and the inevitable ruin that comes with it, is an integral part of life. This makes life hard for sure, because we are all fighting a battle that we will all have to lose someday.
Yeah.
However, if that were all, then this being our lot might still be tolerable. What really makes one lose faith is not so much the natural state of the world, but rather the unnatural cruelty of man. Akira Kurosawa's Rashomon paints a pretty bleak picture of the state of humanity. Crime and corruption are commonplace, but that's a given. What really gets the characters in this movie to question the very value of humanity itself are the lies that come with it. Remember, as we discussed previously, lies are what lead to hell.
True.
The film is told in flashback from 4 different eyewitness perspectives, recounting the story of how a samurai was murdered and his wife was raped.
Jesus.
Now, this is an awful situation to begin with, but the true unsettling thing is that none of these 4 stories line up exactly. Each one differs just enough so that they vaguely describe the same events, but each one shifts most of the blame onto someone else.
Yeah.
Everyone here is lying to some degree, not only to each other, but even more importantly, to themselves. In the biblical story of the fall of man, when God asked Adam and Eve if they had eaten the fruit of the tree of knowledge, the response both of them give is a sort of lie. Adam says that Eve gave him the fruit, and Eve says that the serpent tricked her. In a way, both of these stories are kind of true, but only pedantically. They're still lies because they ignore the part where their own free will came into play. In Rashomon, like in the Falls story, the characters are all lying by telling their stories in a way that's kind of based in the truth of what really happened.
So basically, like, because, like how the line's saying, humans lie, and it is true. Every human has lied. Like, there's never been a true saint, like, in this world that has never lied. Like, we could go to going and like lying about like, oh, like I didn't do this, and it's just like something small, like something that wouldn't like involve critical repercussions. Like, let's say I forgot to stock up juices for what's it called, the pantry, and then my mom would be all pissed off, and I go to the point that I lie and say, oh, I forgot. And then she goes with the rebuttal of like, I've told you many times before. And you go with your rebuttal saying, I never heard you say it. And then you just have that lie just build up and build up and build up. And it just goes to the point where sometimes they give in to you with the lie that you have given yourself, or that you give them. Or they win and you have to like face the fact that you were the liar and you say the truth. And then it just moves forward into a clear path that person will forever have in the back of their mind that you are a liar because of this action. And trust is very much half given based on your thought. Because I've also gone through moments like this where I literally like tell my friends, like, any new person, I try to give them the trust because I know they're not going to break that trust. But whenever they do an action that involves with lies and breaks my trust, I later go to the point where I'm just all pissed off because I'm like, bro, I've given them my trust and they slap it away out of my hand and they find lies to prove that I was the one in the wrong, that what I told them was a lie, and they keep on digging the hole deeper of their pushback. And the person that has been given that lie, or in this case would be me, or the person that has been that has given the trust and has been slapped away, they end up having a state of thought. What thought process should I go with? Should I go with violence? Should I go with letting it go and develop more as we keep moving forward? Or just accept the whole mentality that no human should be trusted ever, and I should never give trust? I went on with the second option. I let it go. I was pissed, but I let shit run its course. And now it's gotten to the point where all that shit, all that anger has been expressed to someone that I really trust, and I have trusted, and they've given their trust back. It's gone to the point where that has removed a weight off my body. And now all that pushback that liar has given to me is going to be shown into the light amongst all the other peers that have given trust, and they've given trust back. So we could truly see the lies being showcased to that person. And they have to figure out how to either lie to get their way out of this, or accept that they have lied, accept that they were wrong, accept the changes, the repercussions that will come out of this, and move forward. That's basically what's going. Like, I don't have to consider a person a demon to like prove that humans could be liars. So, like I said.
But it's manipulated to make themselves look good. Or at least make themselves look as good as they possibly can.
Yeah.
Once you realize just how messed up everything is, it can be so easy to just want to embrace the meaninglessness. If everyone lies, then one cannot really know the truth.
True.
This is the call to nihilism that most of this video has been about so far.
Oh no, did
However,
it crash?
nihilism, I believe, is really not compatible with life. The Vagrant character in Rashomon acts like he's a nihilist, but really he's only pretending to be one as a sort of self-defense mechanism. Because I don't believe that you can really be a nihilist and continue living anyway. As long as you are alive, you do in fact believe in something by the mere fact that you continue living. You at least believe in continuing your own existence for the time being, if nothing else. So, no. True nihilism is to believe in absolutely nothing, which is something that only the dead can do. The main character in The Dream of a Ridiculous Man is a more authentic nihilist. He truly doesn't believe that anything matters, even his own life.
Jesus.
So the only logical thing to do is to end it then. It doesn't matter anyway. Or so he thought. On his way home, he encounters a little girl, begging him to come save her mother. He brushes past her because he reasons that if nothing matters, then even this little girl's pleas mean nothing. After all, he plans to kill himself that night anyway, so it's not like he'll have to worry about it.
True.
However, despite his rationalizations, by the time he gets home, he remains disturbed by his actions. Why? It all made perfect logical sense. None of this matters, so why does it still bother him? Maybe it doesn't matter to the universe, but it matters to him. Overwhelmed by these contradictory feelings, the man collapses and enters into a dream, where he has gone to a Garden of Eden-like world on another planet far away from Earth. In this place, he encounters a civilization living in complete harmony and bliss with each other. There is death, but no corruption. Only radical truth and harmony amongst its members. This is mankind before the fall. But the protagonist comes from a fallen world, and inadvertently brings his stain of sin with him, like a virus come to ravage the native population.
And it's the wolf.
As a joke, he fashions a mask, which philosophically is a device of lies, since it hides one's true face.
True.
And with this
the Two-Face
of lies, he becomes the new devil serpent in the garden, and teaches the new Eve the first sin. She has gained the knowledge of good and evil. And once Pandora's box has been opened, all the man can do is watch in horror as the people, elated by their newfound intellectual powers, rush to destroy their own happiness in the blind pursuit of finding something that will make them happy.
Jesus.
Yet, even though he has destroyed it, he still has had glimpsed enough of the truth that his delusions of nihilism have been dispelled. He has had a divine revelation which fills him with religious purpose, to pursue the truth in spite of the brokenness of the world. He becomes a man of faith, and people call him ridiculous for it.
Jeez.
It is kind of ridiculous, though, really, to take on the burden of faith, because it's hard. But it is also necessary. We must carry our cross, so to speak. There is evil in the world, and even if we're lucky enough to live comfortably in our own walled gardens, maybe not the Garden of Paradise like in Eden, but at least something close to it, like the Shire, for instance. We cannot simply just stay there forever, because
We have to face reality.
Corruption and evil will always seek to break in and destroy this peace.
Yeah.
So we must carry our burdens. In The Lord of the Rings, the burden Frodo carries is the One Ring, which is evil that must be destroyed. Going back to Rashomon, the woodcutter and priest end up finding a baby in the temple, abandoned. The burden presenting itself here is whether or not to accept the baby and raise it, despite the brokenness of the world that it will grow up into. Shouldering your burdens, or carrying your cross, can thus have seemingly contradictory meanings. Frodo's burden is one of death. The woodcutter's is one of life. Yet they are not contradictory at all, but rather two sides of the same coin.
True.
1 Peter 2:24 states, "He himself bore our sins in his body on the cross, so that we might die to sin and live for righteousness. By his wounds have we been healed." The Christian image of the cross is the West's version of yin and yang, life and death, which exist in harmony. Without one, there cannot be the other. Without death to sin, there can be no life in righteousness. For Frodo, death to the One Ring and the evil that comes with it means life for the rest of the world.
True.
And for the woodcutter, life for the baby means death to the nihilistic, meaningless corruption that threatens to rot the world. For to
The
choose
hope.
life
It gives
for
the hope.
infant is to choose a future for humanity, despite its brokenness. The ridiculous dream of faith is to shoulder one's burdens, to carry one's cross, and believe in a future worth fighting for.
It's like in the great stories, Mr. Frodo. The ones that really mattered. Full of darkness and danger they were. And sometimes you didn't want to know the end. Because how could the end be happy?
But in the end, it's only a passing thing. The shadow.
And when the sun shines, it'll shine out the clearer. Those were the stories that stayed with you.
Yeah.
That meant something. But I
The
think,
ones
Mr.
of hope.
Frodo, I do understand. Folk in those stories had lots of chances of turning back, only they didn't. Because they were holding on to something.
Hope.
But there's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo.
There always is.
And it's worth fighting for.
Part 5. I'm not okay yet. Damn, dude. These... I'm telling you, like, this video is bars. It really gives a retrospective of just how the world is. Full of lies, full of deceit, full of demons. And just how Leaflet was saying, like, they are demons. Demons are among us. But they shadow themselves under a screen. Or sometimes they do it on live. Like we've seen from the TikToks that were demonstrations. There's some people that are just not willing to freaking showcase their true face. Because they know the repercussions that come out of it. And they don't want to accept it. And the ones that do accept to showcase everything, they're all confused when the pushback comes to them. But yeah, like how the line said, there is good in people. There always will be good in people that try to do their best, try to fight the fight, even if it doesn't involve violence. They find ways to make it mend this world from its corruption, from its brokenness, from everything that is just all messed up. So, damn. Beautiful.
So that's how I've been radicalized. I've realized that the only path forward for me in an increasingly chaotic world is to radically affirm life, renounce meaninglessness, and to seek and speak the truth. For it is only with truth that we can defeat the demons and their lies. Evil exists. There is nothing that you or I can do about that. But what we can do is make sure that evil doesn't have a place in our own hearts.
True.
I promise by the grace of God that I will try to do my best in this pursuit. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff comfort me. Yeah, it's a cliche line,
But still.
but it's correct. I am not okay. Not yet. But I hope to get there someday. I will make mistakes. I will fall short. But I will carry that burden. I am the man with a ridiculous dream. Thank you for watching. I love all of you.
And let this be known that I also, obviously I can do a freaking heart. I'll give you the, I'll give you this heart. An amazing video from Kit Katzyy, and like I said, if we ever get the chance to like have this one-on-one chat, and if you want to give it through the means of on live or whatchamacallit, like one-on-one, like we just get the chance to like fully talk, I definitely I wouldn't want to say like I want to hear the burden. I want to share that burden, because you're not alone in this. You're not alone in this fight of having to deal with the darkness that comes out of this world, and just hearing horrible ass shit. I know people will agree with you. Some people won't agree with you. Some people will give you the threats. And to those people that go to that method of like giving threats, I just wish you that you have the second thought mentality, just like how this video explained from the examples that Kit Katzyy gave. They may have like the thoughts of meaningless and nothing matters, but it all comes down to having that revelation that we all have to share a burden. The burden that we want to be better. We don't want to be like the demons that deceive and lie, because it only brings nothing but pain, nothing but death. And we must strive forward into the light of hope, because hope is one thing that people say that you could lose, but hope never gets lost. It just gets pushed away by obstacles that we have to deal with. And once we get to deal with those obstacles head on, we get closer and closer to that hope. And once we reach that hope, we end up spreading it to people. And the people that want to get to that point with us, we share the burden, so that way they could also reach that same peak of hope. So the pathway of the demons is shortened, and then they have to wallow in their shadows, regretting and having to deal with all their lies, and trying to find ways to become better and to reach in the same point that we are in, of hope. Beautiful video from Kit Katzyy. I know you're gonna get a lot of hate if this video gets way more views. I'm obviously gonna give this video a like. I'm also gonna leave a comment. But I just don't know like what comment to do, cause just everything has been my thoughts have been really, really scrambled in this, because I just don't know what to say, because I usually end up just piling up all my thoughts into something at the end. But yeah, like I'm saying, Kit, if we ever get the chance to talk one-on-one, I definitely want to make that happen, because you're not alone. You got your digital friend here, and we could try to find the hope together, along with our fan bases that believe in this, and the ones that don't believe in this, we're just gonna have to let them live in that delusional world that their lies will only get them as far. And we'll definitely see. We'll definitely see how society gets now that lies are being showcased and truth are being made. Amazing video. Amazing video. And I hope you like the video. And go give Kit Katzyy a subscribe and comment on this video. Amazing.